What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Freedom Fire podcast, where we want to stoke the flames of freedom every single day. My name is Kendall Bowman. We got a loaded show for you guys today, but before we get into that, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section, share the show with your friends. All right, let's get into this, guys. I'm sure you guys have heard by now, unless you've been living under a rock, about the Chinese spy balloon. Well, Biden finally decided to shoot it down, I believe yesterday or the day before. And it took him several days to finally get that done. So, here is a list of the U.S. military bases in the path of the China spy balloon as it traversed across the continental United States. This is from the Gateway Pundit. The China spy balloon tracking model over the continental U.S. On Saturday, the Biden regime admitted the China spy balloon crossing the continental U.S. was first spotted a week earlier in Alaska back on January 28th. The balloon flew over from Alaska into Canada and down into the continental U.S. On Tuesday, the balloon entered the Idaho-Montana region and crossed the U.S. for the next 4 days. The China spy balloon was then shot down after it left U.S. territory in North Carolina and had collected all of its data for the Chinese Communist Party. Now, here's a list of all of the military installations that this thing was probably able to get data from before it was finally shot down. Maelstrom Air Force Base, Montana. Ellsworth Air Force Base, South Dakota. Joe Foss Field, South Dakota. Sioux City, Iowa. Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska, Camp Ashland in Nebraska, Lincoln A&G, Nebraska, Whiteman Air Force Base, Missouri, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, St. Louis Army Human Resources, St. Louis. You get the point. There's 21 military installations here that this balloon was able to get data from before it finally was shot down. And they're still searching for the wreckage of it. They can't find the freaking wreckage of the balloon that they freaking shot down. Of course they can't, because we have an incompetent government. But I bet you didn't know this. This happened before. China floated balloon over Hawaii last year. Unmanned balloon spotted over Hawaii in 2022. Yes, this has happened before under the Biden regime. The Chinese surveillance balloon that floated across the United States this week may not be the first unmanned Chinese surveillance balloon that has infiltrated U.S. airspace. Back in 2022, Hawaii's News Now, which is a major news station in the state of Hawaii, reported a strange white balloon was spotted by residents on the island of Kauai. I believe that's the name. Correct me if I'm wrong. Back in February of 2022. The balloon, which was described by residents as a white orb, even garnered the attention of the U.S. military. Hawaii's Adjutant General reported the U.S. military sent out aircraft and confirmed that the white orb residents were seeing was actually a white unmanned balloon that had no identifiable markings. Residents of Kauai claimed they saw jets shoot down the balloon and heard loud booms too. The military, however, denied the locals' claims. And there is a photo of said balloon there. A large mysterious object floating high above Kauai prompted a response from the military this week. The large white orb was identified by the military as an unmanned balloon with no observable identification markings. Hawaii's Adjutant General said the military sent aircraft on Monday to check out the balloon. Dozens of Garden Isle residents captured the mysterious balloon, with some saying it was very bright and not moving. Other residents said it looked like jets shot it down and heard some loud booms, but the military said it did not fire at the balloon. That is an excerpt from the Hawaii News Now report. This is a major issue, guys. This right here is telling China that they can essentially do whatever they want and there will be no recourse for their actions. This, of course, is coming after we've had a completely open southern border where China has been sending fentanyl to the cartels in Mexico, and the Mexican cartels have been funneling this fentanyl across our southern border to kill thousands of Americans every single year. It's a major issue. China is constantly getting away with not only obstructing our land and obstructing our air traffic, but also with killing Americans. And Biden is just not doing anything about it. It's unacceptable. It's very unacceptable. But like most things the government does, I believe this was a distraction. Biden regime quietly frees one of 9/11 terrorist planners from Gitmo as the whole country watches the Chinese spy balloon. So while we were all distracted, the Biden regime was releasing terrorists from prison. As the whole country was preoccupied with the Chinese spy balloon last week, one of the 9/11 terrorist planners was quietly released from Guantanamo Bay in Cuba by the Biden regime. On Thursday, Majid Khan, now 42, was moved to Belize, his legal team announced. Today, more than 16 years after he was brought to Guantanamo Bay, and almost a year after he completed a military commission sentence there pursuant to a plea and cooperation agreement with U.S. authorities, Majid Khan was transferred to Belize, his legal team said in a statement. So, while we were all distracted by a Chinese spy balloon, Biden was releasing terrorists from prison who were directly involved in the 9/11 terrorist attack back in 2001. Oh, and I hope we didn't forget about this guy. Yes, James O'Keefe and Project Veritas released more information about this interaction over the weekend, which of course was covered up by the Chinese spy balloon story. I'm just going to go ahead and read this because the video is insane. Breaking at Pfizer director concerned over women's reproductive health after COVID-19 vax. And this COVID director said, and I quote, "Something irregular about their menstrual cycles concerning. Vaccine shouldn't be interfering. It has to be affecting something hormonal." So while we were all distracted by this Chinese spy balloon, terrorists were being released, and we got more information from Pfizer that the vaccine could be, I'm not going to say that this is definitive proof, even though this guy is a director at Pfizer who has been involved in the creation of these vaccines. There's a very good chance that these vaccines could be affecting the menstrual cycles of women and the reproductive health of women. Guys, this is insane. This is crazy. It is absolutely crazy, first of all, that we would allow another world power to obstruct not only our southern border, but also our airspace, and to kill our people by flooding our markets and our black markets with extremely potent drugs and poison. But also that we would use that as a distraction, as if that's not the worst thing, use that as a distraction to release terrorists and cover up this release of information from Pfizer. Now, in terms of this guy, he had a quote. "I deeply regret the things that I did many years ago, and I have taken responsibility and tried to make up for them. I continue to ask for forgiveness from God and those I have hurt. I am truly sorry. The world has changed a lot in 20 years, and I have changed a lot as well. I promise all of you, especially the people of Belize, that I will be a productive, law-abiding member of society. Thank you for believing in me, and I will not let you down. My actions will speak louder than my words." Now, I think all of us look back on what happened on 9/11, and I wasn't very old at the time. I was born in 98, so I was very young at the time. But I look back on that moment today, and it affects me because it was a direct attack on my country, on my home. And as a Christian, I believe that we should be giving forgiveness, and we should be forgiving. We should be giving second chances to people. But at the same time, man, this is hard. This is hard because how many people did they kill that day? How many people died that day as a direct result of this man's actions? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard. I really hope that this guy has truly gotten his life together. But as we know, some of the treatment that these guys receive at Gitmo isn't exactly great, and he could be harboring a lot of hatred in his heart after that treatment at Gitmo, and this could all just be lies. He could have already figured out a way to get back to the Middle East and to get back in contact with his old contacts and find new ways to attack the U.S. We don't know. Only time will tell if this will be a good thing where we've given a guy a second chance, or if this will be a major mistake where more Americans will die. So that's the show, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there. I'll have another show coming for you guys tomorrow. Make sure you follow me on all of the socials down in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.